Before the time when Conan was known as a great warrior who battled the executive douchebags by leaving the Tonight Show so its glorious legacy could be preserved. P.S. You got balls. There was another Conan, played by then relative newcomer Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am the Nostalgia Critic, doing a parody of the great and powerful Mako, who stars alongside Arnold in these films. It is a time of high adventure, swords and sorcery, and great epic silliness. This is the Conan movies! Large in scale, small on intelligence, the Conan movies were based off of the great stories written by Robert E. Howard. But from what I understand, they have almost nothing to do with these movies, so we will instead look at the films themselves. They are films before one-liners, before great explosions, and before dental work could fix that great big gap in between your teeth. Prepare yourselves for phenomenal goofiness! Okay, I'm not gonna do that impression the whole time, but we are gonna take a look at these movies. And our first film, Conan the Barbarian, starts off, oddly enough, with a Friedrich Nietzsche quote. Well, give him credit. I'm certainly gonna be telling myself that while watching this movie.
Between the time when the ocean...
Made that joke already. Next! So we start off with Arnold Schwarzenegger as a little child. No, not that child! As his father gives him some helpful advice.
No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Yeah, how about if your village is attacked by savage killers who outnumber you greatly and are so blood-hungry that even their dogs are dressed up in armor? I bet your trusty sword wouldn't do much there, would it? Maybe you should have considered that strength in numbers strategy.
We are the knights who say...
So as Conan's father is killed and the knights play Whack-A-Villager, his smoking hot mother tries to protect him from the evil James Earl Jones.
Well, gee, when you put it like that...
So it looks like he's gonna leave her alone and let her fight another day. Psych! Have Hitler!
Yes, I enjoyed taking a long time killing that person for no particular reason. I sure hope her son doesn't build up a vengeful rage and dedicate his life to destroying me while also working out his gigantically large pectoral muscles. Knock on wood.
So all the children from the village are forced into labor, which is strange because the men and women would obviously be much stronger and more valuable, but what do I know? Maybe they work for less. And where exactly do they take these children?
Wheel of Torture!
Yes, Conan, you will be spending the rest of your life pushing this wheel! Years and years of torturous mayhem will go by as you'll be asking yourself, why am I pushing this wheel? You will never get an answer to this question, however, it does seem that your muscles will spontaneously quadruple in size. All from pushing this relatively pointless but also very lovely wheel! So Conan grows big and strong as he literally spends several decades pushing this damn thing. Do you think he enjoys it by now? I mean, good lord, a lifetime of doing nothing but working out? What does that do to a guy?
It's as satisfying to me as coming is, you know, as having sex with a woman and coming. I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, so I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?
Good for you!
Conan, the comer. You?
As the rest of the wheel pushers seem to disappear, somebody finally comes to get him. No, I said give the children candy! Not have them push a gigantic wheel in a circle continually for the rest of their lives? How did you even hear that?
Sit here. Push wheel.
Sit here.
Push wheel? No, all I understand is wheels. Please, do you have a wheel? May I push it?
So Conan, I suppose, is bought and forced into fighting for money. And I guess all that wheel pushing paid off, because even though he's never had any combat training, he's apparently a really good fighter, and keeps winning event after event.
He was taken to the east. A great prize. Language and writing were made available.
How to speak with an Austrian accent. This scroll is very informative.
But over time, Conan becomes angrier and angrier, and I guess his master is afraid that he might have created a monster.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That is good. That is good.
Very good, Conan! You get a gold star!
Thank you, sir. May I have a wheel now?
We shut up about the wheel! So his master sets him free to wander aimlessly as he comes across some sort of burial site. Ah, great, he's in the kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Crom.
Ah yes, Crom. Crom, I suppose, is a warrior god who helped discover the invention of steel, and is also the winner of the God with the Stupidest Name competition. So after he grave robs beloved Crom, he comes across a woman in the middle of the hills. As it appears, she may have some information on the man who killed his family.
One who would crush the snakes of the earth.
Snakes? Did you say snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes?
What is it you seek?
A symbol. Perhaps on a shield. Two snakes coming together.
Coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm
Okay,
getting the feeling
knock it
of
off.
coming.
But in order to find the treacherous villain, he needs some directions. Unfortunately, she tells him that there's a horrible price to pay. Bonking the living shit out of her. Oh, the horror!
Crossroads of the world. You will find what you want.
Wow, how come more men don't ask for directions? This is wonderful! Oh no, she's pulling me into Avatar! The visuals will be stunning, but the story will be absolute bullshit!
Okay. So after that, he comes across a thief named Subbatai, who says he can help him find James Earl Jones by traveling across the land.
Behold, we have reached Jerusalem! Wait, what?
So they go into a few towns, get drunk, he punches a camel, that's nice. And they even come across another thief, who joins them on their quest.
Ooh, I like to ask her for directions.
They're unfortunately captured, though, by King Osric, played by Max von Sydow. He, I suppose, has a task for them. He promises them riches if they can bring back his daughter, who's been brainwashed by James Earl Jones.
She follows him as a slave, seeking for the truth of her soul, as if I could not give it to her.
The power of Crom compels her!
Conan dresses up in his silliest outfits and decides to fight Jones alone. He rides off into the wilderness and sets camp in some sort of Stonehenge ripoff. What? The horses just died with them? How the hell is that possible?
Don't worry, Wilbur, we'll catch those bad guys! What, you dead? Oh, okay, I'll just stand here until starvation.
So it turns out James Earl Jones is the head of a brainwashing cult, which is pretty much like Burning Man if everybody dressed up like Tylenol. But Conan is spotted and brought before our villain.
Steel isn't strong, boy. Flesh is stronger. Look around you. There, on the rocks, that beautiful girl. Come to me, my child. That is power. Crucify him.
Too Jewish.
Forgive them, Crom. They know not what they do.
Oh, to make things worse, he's nailed up right next to Eric Idle.
Always look on the light side of life.
But the other two thieves come to save him as they take him to a wizard who will try to bring him back to life. And wouldn't you know it, he's played by Mako. So he gives him a make-over, as apparently this is supposed to bring him back to life somehow.
Alright, what's an 8-letter word for an uncouth person in the Dark Ages? Begins with B. Anybody? Anybody, but begins with B.
So Arnold's Sudoku seems to work as Conan is brought back to life. But there's still the business of getting the king's daughter back, as they try to break into the castle and get her out.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!
They dress up in their commando makeup that still doesn't seem to camouflage anything, as they sneak into the palace where some sort of strange orgy is going on. Well, that's just silly. Does he do this often? Is Thursday night just snake night? Oh well, no time to question logic now. We've got a princess to save. They take her away from the palace as James Earl Jones finally comes to his senses.
Guys, I told you to watch the place. Well, I was a snake. Can't a guy just be a snake for 5 minutes without something going wrong?
So he gets out his bow and, I'm totally serious here, he fires a snake at them. You know, guy, I can see you have sort of a snake motif going on here, but you don't have to use it for everything. Just use a friggin' arrow. I mean, what, do you brush your teeth with snakes? Comb your hair with snakes? God help us if he actually has a snake condom, that'd just be insane. So the woman sadly dies as the rest of them get ready for the big battle. They do this by setting up the Flintstone equivalent of Home Alone traps.
Crom, I've never prayed you before. All that matters is that two stood against many. That's what's important. Barbaro pleases you, Crom.
Bad news, I'm afraid. Your prayer accidentally got intercepted by R. Crom, the perverted cartoonist.
I was sexually attracted to Bugs Bunny, and I cut out this Bugs Bunny off the cover of a comic book and carried it around with me.
So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then to hell with you.
Wow, that's like the most backhanded prayer I ever heard in my life. Give me what I want, and if not, fuck you. Do you think he'll just pray for everything like that from now on? Oh, Crom, please let my Happy Meal contain either Alvin, Simon, or Theodore from the Alvin and the Chipmunks Collector's series, but do not put in any chipettes. I do not like the chipettes. God help you if there's any chipettes in there! And if there is a chipette, then to hell with you! To hell with you! So with his spear magic helmet, he fights off all the bad guys along with his friends.
Gah! Fell for the oldest trick in the book! Hitting a helmet which I thought was you, triggering a rock, activating a spear that stabbed me in the chest. Damn, you're good!
He even gets help from beyond the grave, apparently.
Do you want to live forever?
And by forever, I mean a brief cameo in the sequel. So he wins the battle as all the bad guys flee back to the palace. They snap the princess to her senses as she agrees to show Conan how to sneak into the fortress and finally kill James Earl Jones.
Burn you the way to paradise!
My child, you have come to me, my son, who gave you the will to live. What will your world be without me? my son.
Well, gee, when you put it like that, fuck you! Ow! 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 Ow!
So I guess this somehow breaks the spell they're all under. I didn't even know they were under a spell, as Conan burns down the palace and builds up some hype for the sequel.
In time, he became a king by his own hand. This story shall also be told.
Very poorly in Conan the Destroyer!
E se tu non m'ascolti, allora va alla malora.